This is how to use a skill saw. Before you use a skill saw, there's 3 inspection points that you want to check through. Unwrap it from the cord. First thing I'm going to check is I'm going to check the housing to make sure there's no broken, cracked, missing pieces. I'm going to inspect the cord, the whole length of the cord, to make sure there's no frays or any damage in it, especially focusing on the 2 ends. Then I'm also going to check the blade itself. I'm going to make sure it's tight, make sure I'm not missing too many teeth, and it's not warped or cracked or damaged in any way. If it is, then we swap it out for a new blade. Now when I get ready to use it, I've got to ensure that I have my PPE on, my glasses, my pants, closed-toed heel shoes. And make sure that it's unplugged and there's no trigger lock in it. I'm going to secure the material and mark it. You can either secure it with a pair of clamps or have one of your buddies hold the end. And I'm just going to place a random mark with a speed square, a nice square line across it. The next thing I'm going to do is adjust my blade depth. And the way I do that is I pull the upper blade guard out and let it rest on it. And if you'll notice, it's hanging about 1 inch or so below it. I have to release the depth adjustment that I showed you. And then I pull down against it till just only about the blade itself is sticking out past the thickness of the 2x4. The difference in that is, the reason you do that is many times, and you have lots of accidents with these where people have their hands or fingers under and they get them cut. The difference of the 1/4 inch is you only just cut down through your fingers and it's 3-4 surgeries to sew all the pieces back, or you get them all cut off if it's all the way down and they call you nubby. Once I've adjusted the base plate and have my mark, now I can plug my saw in. I'm going to see that it has power. And to begin the cut, you align the base plate with your mark. If you remember from the other day, this front little mark right here is the one we do when we're at 0 degree. And if we have it laid all the way over on a 45 bevel, we use this other little mark. So I'm aligning this mark till I get close. I'm ensuring that I'm flat on the wood. That's the key to cutting with a skill saw. And then I'm looking down through the little window that I have here to see when the blade makes contact with my mark, and see that I'm aligned, and try to be, you want to run parallel with the line. So when I start to cut, I'm going to focus on holding the saw flat, and then I'm going to pass through, and then once I pass through completely, I'll release the trigger, and then when it stops running, I'll set it on the table and unplug it. So I'm going to make the cut now. Let it stop running, let the lower blade guard come up, and unplug it. Now that I'm finished, I have 3 maintenance steps. 1, I want to make sure the saw is clean. You especially focus in the lower blade guard and then around the motor and the vents in it. Make sure it's dry, appears to be dry. Then I want to check the blade again to make sure I haven't broken off any teeth, because if you run through nails or heavy metal, or sometimes in through knots, it'll get it really hot and the blade itself will actually warp and you'll feel it wobble when it cuts. Then I want to return the saw to the way I found it with the cord wrapped up around it. That's the steps for using a skill saw. So what I want you to do next is actually watch this a few times, practice it, make yourself some notes, and when you get confident you can do it without notes, I want you to video yourself doing the inspection, the 8 points of how to use, and the maintenance points. Then resubmit that video back in the Google Classroom where you found this assignment.